And I know you've probably been asked this a million times today, but what is it like saying goodbye to your character and goodbye to the series?
So hard. It feels so satisfying because I feel like we have told an amazing story over three films. I feel like the third film really says a wonderful goodbye to the franchise. I think the fans are going to love it. I think it's the most fun out of all three of them. But it is hard. Like it's hard to think like, oh yeah, I won't do this again next year. Like we're not going to talk about this next year. And I mean, with anything in life, things come to an end. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I've learned so much, I've grown so much. So I'm excited for the next chapter.
What would you say you learned the most about yourself while filming these movies?
Oh, okay, that's tough. I feel like a million things are coming to mind. I think, something with Rachel that I've been kind of talking about a lot is how she really trusts herself and how she really listens and puts herself first and like protects herself while also respecting the other relationships. And I feel that I can see myself kind of growing in the same way as an actor and really learning to trust my instincts. And I was so proud of the work that I did on these films. And from someone whose confidence can kind of waver, I felt like this was a turning point for me of really trusting my instincts and feeling proud of the work I was doing. That was quite new for me.
If they were to do a spin-off series just based solely on Rachel,
I'm in.
what
Let's
would
do it.
you what would you like to see happen?
Oh my God. I just want to see like Rachel be a boss. And like, I think she's so kind and we've seen her be such a kind, compassionate person. And I recently said this about her that, she's quiet, but she's very strong. And I really love that about her. So I'd kind of like to see her voice get a little bit stronger. And I want to see her like, I don't know, take down a big corporation or something.
That would be fantastic. I
Yeah.
think the nice thing about your character is as the series progressed, she got more and more, not only screen time, but confidence. And by the
Yeah.
end of it, you had a character that, no matter who's watching could, find inspiration in to be like, I can speak out, I can use, like, I can stand up for myself. So for you, what does that feel like knowing that you've created a character that can be such an inspiration to millions around the world?
I just feel really proud of that. And when Vince wrote these scripts, I think that was something that was quite conscious for him. And when we talked about Rachel, like in between takes, and he was giving me direction, we had these conversations about what was happening. And I don't think I really realized how powerful it would be, like when we were shooting. But when the film came out, when I got to see the final cut, and when I started to see people's like dialogue around Rachel and her relationship, I was like, yeah, I'm really happy that I'm part of this. I think it's really important and really proud to have been a part of it.
What are you going to miss the most about filming this series?
Just hanging out with everyone. I think, we would hang out off of set, obviously, but most of the time it was when we were working. And I think my favorite time of the day was in the makeup chair because that's kind of when everyone would be like coming in or just passing each other as we were getting ready for the day. And it was, everyone was kind of sleepy and half of us were eating breakfast in the chair and you're just kind of like catching up. I love that. That was my favorite part of the day, just being with everyone and hanging out.
Is there a character that you wish that Rachel had spent more time with throughout the series, just for your own personal?
I don't think Rachel was ever with the OMGs. I don't think she ever was. And I
Mm.
think that would have been kind of fun. I would love to like hear. I feel like Rachel would be like talking one of them down from something, being like, I understand what you're saying, but I really think that maybe, like, I feel like I could see Rachel like trying to bring them down
Yeah.
off of a ledge of some kind.
But I feel like she would also do it in a way that like they wouldn't quite get at first. So like she would be kind of, I like let's get there quicker, guys. This is exactly what
Yeah.
it's, and finally she just be like, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, probably. She's like, you're taking too long. Let's do this. Yeah.
What would you say was your biggest obstacle filming this movie?
Biggest obstacle. I think I don't know if I would really consider it an obstacle. It was challenging. I think the emotionality of especially the second film, but just not even I'm not even necessarily talking about the character, but like the emotionality of like being on and it was quite a lot of energy that you had to put into making these films. That was sometimes a bit challenging because you want to bring that energy every day, but you do at some point need to like decompress a little. But as an obstacle, I don't know, it was so wonderful. Like it just was a wonderful experience. I don't think there was anything that was like, oh, I gotta overcome this.
Yeah. I think also the nice thing about this movie, especially, is, you start to see as, seniors, and like obviously some of our characters are in college, that your thoughts change, and it's okay to change. And it's okay that what you thought your freshman year of high school wasn't how your end of high school is going to be. So for you, is there something in your life that you look back on and you're like, man, I was so dead set on this, but I'm so happy I made this decision?
Yes, I feel like there's a lot of those. I think maybe not necessarily decision, but I think my attitude around certain things, especially acting, especially in this industry, I think I was really hard on myself when I first started acting. And I think I took everything really personally. I was very hurt by any kind of rejection. If I had an off day, I would just be like absolutely destroyed and so upset that I didn't have a good day and it wasn't exactly how I wanted to do it and it wasn't perfect. And I sometimes think, especially when you're like in high school and in those years, there's this idea of like your steps that you need to take and how things should go. And you have all these expectations of what the next few years of your life are going to look like. But it's so important to kind of, follow a path, but also be open to things shifting you in other directions. And when something doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. If you don't do well in that exam, it's not the end of the world because you will be fine. Yep. Millions of people fail exams and they are fine. Like, I think that's such an important thing, is you can feel like the world is crushing you, but you just need to kind of trust the process, go with it, and be gentle with yourself.
Did you find as you did this movie that you had a little bit more control over Rachel and what she did and how she did, or was it still very collaborative like it was, the first and second movie?
I think it was collaborative with Vince. Like I definitely felt like he's always open to any ideas that you have, any opinions that you have, and we would talk about things. I think he was such a great captain of the ship because he really guided. I had my idea for what my storyline was, but he was looking at the whole picture constantly and keeping us all in balance. And so I would check in with him about different things and he'd help me guide that. But I also felt like he let me bring my voice to it. He'd let me bring Rachel to life as I thought was best. And then he helped me guide that to work with everyone else's choices.
Was there anything about Rachel that you wish that either was different or that fans, like the audience watchers, got to see that wasn't seen already on screen?
I think there is a bit of more of a history, like a family history that I either made up in my head, or there were parts of that were in the first film that didn't make it. And I think if I were to add something in, I'd love to kind of be able to show a little bit more of her background and her relationship with like her parents, and then how she relates then to Lee and Elle's family dynamics. I would like to show that because it was there for me. I was thinking about it, but you don't ever really get to see too much of it. I think you get a glimpse of like one party, but you don't really see any family dynamic.
I think between all of you, you know, your dynamic obviously with Joel and then with Joey, like the whole thing, just watching that progression grow and get into this movie where it just seems seamless now, you know, and the banter is there and it's fun. Was that something that just came naturally since you all spent so much time together, or were there certain scenes that you said, well, let's work on this or let's do this differently?
No, I think it was pretty seamless. I think Joey and Joel are so talented, and I felt like they really established that kind of energy in the first film, and they pulled that all the way through the whole franchise. And I do think, you know, all of the cast were so comfortable with each other. I think there was just a lot of trust, and in that, a lot of fluidity in how we were performing with one another. So it did feel seamless. It didn't feel like we had to sit down and like work something out, because the chemistry that you see is real. It's natural. It's there. We didn't make that. It's already there, and that just makes everything else we do or did better.
For you, what are you hoping fans get out of this last movie in the series?
I just hope they're happy with how we wrap things up. I think they will be. I hope they feel like it's a good goodbye to the franchise. I hope they feel like they want to come back and watch it again and again and again, because that's what, you know, that's what got us the second and third film, was them watching the first one so many times. Yeah, I just hope they feel satisfied and proud and like this feels good.
What was your biggest takeaway from this film?
I just feel so grateful for the whole opportunity, and I feel like it has taught me so much about myself as a person and as an actor. And yeah, that settledness, that trust, that what it means to be surrounded by really good people that love and support you, I think that's what I've taken away.
Did you get to take anything from set?
Oh my God, somebody else asked me this and I was like so embarrassed, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'll tell you again, because I think I just remembered it, but I took a lot of underwear. I got given a lot of like clean underwear on the day. And I was like, yeah, I'll wear this. You know, sometimes I was wearing, maybe if I was wearing like black underwear, they gave me like nude underwear because I was wearing something white. So like just, it was purely for that reason, nothing like weird. But then I would wear that home and I was like, I'm not going to give it back. So then I just like built up a little pile of kissing booth underwear.
As my last question for you, now that Rachel is over and done with, if you were to come back and play the character, would there be anything you would change about her?
I think I would cut her hair super short and maybe dye it red.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to be a redhead, but I'm too scared because of the commitment and the work, because I'm not obviously not a natural redhead. But yeah, but then she'll look like Lee's mom. Okay, I might have. Oh God, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to think on that one. I'm not sure if I want to look like. But still, I want to just make her like, you know, she's so sweet and so lovely. But I think I want to see her kind of explore an edgier side of herself.